Hey guys, Dustin Magic here, and I just came back from the first actual constructed FNM after Amonkhet. You may remember that last week, pretty much everybody had to hold draft. So now that everybody's had about a week to open Amonkhet and get their decks together, well, what happened? Just from the sampling of the couple people that showed up at mine, I would say it's not as I expected. Usually I come with an all-new deck, all pre-built, because I open enough that I can build whatever I want. And just start stomping people with something they've never seen before. But when I don't do that, I usually just slightly tweak an old deck that has been winning, and I just play with that. Well, that's what I did this time. Combat Specialist, my mono white deck that has won more FNMs than any other deck I've ever built ever. I took out the, God, I call her Kristen Stewart. I honestly don't remember. Oh, Serene Stewart. I took her out and put in the Glory Bound or whatever, the guy who's a 4/4 lifelinker when you exert him, and when Always Watching is out, you just win. And then also Lone Rider's in the deck, and also he basically is Lone Rider, so yeah. I absolutely crushed everybody except for Black, White, Red Vehicle Super Friends. That's a thing, apparently. I absolutely hate everything about that deck, but I did win the middle game, actually. Oh, I come to think of it, I actually won the first game. But yeah, that deck is just stupid. Just white removal, red removal, black removal, and he's running about 14 removals. And then planeswalkers that you can't kill. The most devastating planeswalkers in 3 colors, 3 different types of them. And giant vehicles that can be crewed with scrap heaps that can come out of the graveyard. I mean, the deck is just stupid, just utterly stupid. It's a product of them letting 3 colors be a thing. I mean, enough said. That is solely and exclusively responsible. So other than that, it seemed like anybody who was trying an Amonkhet mechanic heavy deck got just obliterated. Just not even a chance in hell. Anybody who was running an old deck, which was, I mean, 90%, maybe 80% of the people there were running just an old deck where they were just like, oh, I'll swap out a card, I'll swap out 2 cards. Cool, I improved it, and that's it. I got the impression by who did that it wasn't just like, oh, I don't have the money to buy completely into Amonkhet, I'm just going to recycle a deck. It was just people saying, why would I build something worse? So the Amonkhet heavy decks look a little bit weaker, except for zombies, and honestly, that is solely because of the Shadows block. I mean, Crypt Breaker, Diregraph, Zombies, if that doesn't come in the top 8 on the Pro Tour, and in fact, I'd say 4 out of the top 8, I will be very surprised. The only thing is, like, everybody thought Red White Vehicles was good. I think twice, actually. Except it didn't, well, I mean, it did show up to the Pro Tour, it just didn't win, because everybody had heard that it was good, and they're like, okay, if I'm not playing that, that's what I have to beat. Everybody sideboarded for it, everybody even mainboarded for it, and then it didn't win, even though it probably is a better deck. So that might happen. People, I mean, there's more than a couple cards that will take out zombie tokens. I mean, Virulent Plague is no longer legal. That's a shame. I love that card. I mean, when you have something so perpetually annoying as token dump decks, you gotta have a shutdown card. And I believe Bile Blight was legal at the same time. Oh, kick them in both nuts. So I think that the reason Amonkhet is not selling so well was, 1, nobody wanted to play against, you know, the stupid cat combo, so they just utterly quit Standard and said screw it. Plus, Modern Masters came out, so Modern is cheaper, so they're playing Modern. I mean, simple as that. And 2, the decks aren't that good. I mean, I'm sure there's a -1 counter dump deck out there that's pretty good, but Green-Black is probably the best at it, maybe. And it's so slow. It's just so stupidly slow. Like, all the best cards cost 5, the Archfiend and the Beetle. I mean, there's like 1 cheaper, I think. Something about every time you cycle, put a counter on people. I think that's a little bit cheaper, but it's just so slow. And I mean, okay, Green-Black has some removal. Not as much as, like, if you added White-Red. So I think that dead's just dead on arrival, but I think that's one of those things where it's kind of like vehicles and crewing. As soon as the next set comes out, Hour of Devastation, we're going to really get nuts with the -1, -1s, because they just scream, I'm in both sets, like, as far as the mechanic. That seems like the one they'll use. Embalm, I doubt it. I mean, really anything else, it has to be -1, -1s. They're so generic, they're so, like, in other stuff. I think that we will see it in our Devastation. So I think hold on to your -1, -1 cards, especially the lower cost ones that actually look good. I think we're going to see an improved version of that pretty soon. So it kind of sucks that now Amonkhet has more going against the sale of it because I kind of need to still make some money. I'm holding a ton of rares. I mean, practically all of them at this point. So to see something really take off that's Amonkhet heavy, especially with rares, would be really nice. And I think maybe it will. I mean, I know cat tribal's way the hell too slow. Zombies are crazy, but half the cards aren't even from this damn set. Embalm is I don't know, maybe a death trigger Embalm. I could see that becoming a thing because, you know, Aristocrats, that was a huge deck. Remember, that was just death trigger and resurrection, and not that hard to do it. You just need creature ETB. The only problem is the good creature ETB involves energy right now, and what's the point of having energy and Embalm? But I think somebody's going to come up with something. So other than that, nothing really stands out as, whoa, somebody just blew everybody away with this awesome new Amonkhet deck. So that kind of sucks, but, you know, it is what it is. Now, a lot of people on the internet are, like, putting, like, a soft logic blame on, oh, this is the 7th set that's legal. There's 6 other sets to build with. Why would anybody buy it? Just based on the fact that there's 6 other sets, why would anybody buy the 7th one? Because you've got way more options. Now, back in reality, if BFZ and OGW, and that's it, would have cycled out, which is what was supposed to happen, is anybody playing a BFZ or OGW deck right now? Not really, not that I've seen. I mean, Landfall kind of made a little bit of a resurgence, but even that's not that good. I mean, you might have a onesie-twosie kind of thing where you would like are still playing Runist Path or you have like an Awakening spell. Other than that, I haven't seen a damn thing from BFZ or OGW. Maybe your LGS is different and people are still doing something creative with like Eldrazi Titans or something, but if we lost those two, we'd have almost the exact same standard meta that's out right now. I mean, just nothing is from those sets. So while in general it's true that the 7th and 8th sets should not sell as well because they aren't cycling anything, in reality, BFZ and OGW just aren't that competitive right now. So I agree with the argument, but it's not actually true in this specific circumstance. So the only good hope is people are like, hey, do you have 4 of this? Do you have 2 of this? Do you have 4 of those? I need 3 more of these because I have an idea for a deck. I have an idea for a deck. So while there's not that many net deckers at my LGS, I feel like either people are just being slow about what to build, they just kind of put it off, or they didn't have the money to buy a ton of Amonkhet yet, or they're still waiting for the orders to come in the mail, or instead of copying the top tournament decks, which is being a net decker, they're just looking up deck lists that people posted on the forum, and they're like, oh, that looks kind of good. That's just called not wanting to build your own deck. I mean, that's not really net decking. To net deck, you have to copy a tournament-winning deck. The whole point is you're a pay-to-win douchebag who just has to win at any cost, and nobody else can have fun. Like, all you care about is winning, and you don't care if you're running some overpowered broken garbage like a Sihili Cat combo. By the way, the Sihili Cat combo people, surprisingly, didn't show up. Oh, I'm shocked. Yeah, I missed them already. Oh, no. So anyway, with my Combat Specialist deck, I actually went 2-1. I'm just randomly saying that now because I know I'm going to forget. So, and I almost won the middle game against that stupid garbage overpowered deck. So once again, I almost swept with the same deck. And that's the problem. No matter if you're running like an Eldrazi summoning old school deck or something newer from like Shadows or something from Kaladesh, it's powerful enough that you're not terribly motivated to just jump on Amonkhet, because especially if you're like, this is an established deck, I don't have to change a damn thing, nothing's cycled out, I can keep running it, I also can improve it slightly with 1 or 2 cards from Amonkhet, so now it's even more powerful, or I could try something... Yeah, this time it's actually rice, it's not pasta. Okay, quick random recipe if you're lazy as hell. You get like the Grill Mates seasoning packs that you're supposed to season meat with to grill, and then you cook a whole bunch of rice, and then you pour it on the rice. They're actually cheaper than actual like rice mix kits, and you can buy the rice like 5 pounds at a time for like $3. So anyway, people are like, oh, I could go with the deck that's even more powerful than it was before, which, you know, that's fun, or I could try something brand new that hasn't been tested at all and probably lose with it. Great. So even if they're not waiting for Pro Tour results to copy them, people are still kind of leery about, you know, their ability to win with the new cards. And I don't think anybody's like super sick of their deck to the point where they want to drop it. You know, like it's just some tedious, non-working, inconsistent deck, because that's just not what's in standard right now, all the way down to like tier 3. So I have one more theory about what I think is going on with Amonkhet sales and prices in the standard meta. I think people were so fed up with standard, they're like, oh, they didn't ban the cat, screw it. You know, I'm not going to buy any, I'm canceling my pre-order, I'm not going to open any, I'm not going to buy any singles. And then like 2 days later, they banned the cat. So people had like no time to get their crap together and get a deck idea, get it tested, maybe test it out online or play test it with a friend and then bring it. So that's why I think a lot of people were talking about what they were going to build. They were asking about certain cards, but they haven't actually built it yet because they had little to no time after standard was fixed ish by removing the cat combo. Now the cat combo would have gotten shredded by about 8 cards in Amonkhet, which would have helped sell Amonkhet. So that's ironic. Not a whole lot stops Mardu vehicles necessarily. There's a couple helper cards, but it's not great. What they should have also banned is Gideon, because that stupid thing was in 2 people's decks out of the 3 that I played. Oh, and one of them was running the Gideon emblem. Did not help him worth a damn against my combat specialist deck. Giant flying lifelinkers with removal to get your flyers over the way is not going to leave Gideon on the field, trust me. To run a proper Gideon deck that's very Gideon heavy, you would have to be mixed solely with blue. Because then you got your Spell Quellers, which is nice, Guard in the Air, counter a spell, beautiful. Selfless Spirits that you can chump block and still preserve it. And block and leave. And then you're going to need like a Anticipate, Glimmer, Contingency Plan, whatever, to get your Gideons all stacked up. And once you have too many Gideons in the hand, to get them out of the way. Then you got white removal, put in, some flyers to fly over their crap and to block the planeswalkers, then put out a bunch of overpowered like 1 and 2 drops, and you're good. There's more than a couple of them that are 3/1s, trust me. Add a couple problem over time creatures and some turnicides and negates, and you are golden. Then your sideboard, oh my god, overkill. So that's another deck that I think will come out. It uses 1 card from Amonkhet. That's about it. So if you're not sensing a recurring theme here, Amonkhet is lovely. I think the set's designed fun. It's fun to draft, fun to play sealed, but basically the major core mechanics are not good enough to compete. That's, at the end of the day, that's what's killing the sales the most and the popularity. Nobody's running an all-embalmed deck. Nobody's running an all -1/-1 counters deck. And if they are, they're losing badly by miles. The decks that are currently legal right now are too overpowered, and Amonkhet, even with the power cranked up to 11 with certain cards like As Foretold, it just can't do it. And by the way, As Foretold, oh my god, would that be in that deck? Are you kidding me? I'm also waiting for the triple free cast with Eldrazi Titans in it. That's gotta be coming at some point. It'll be Oracle's Vault, As Foretold, and Aetherworks Marvel with white-blue energies, stall, and wall, and control and removal. Oh, and draw. So basically red, white, blue without the red. Then the whole goal is to just free cast some garbage out of your deck. I mean, hell, put Planar Bridge in, why not? Actually, it doesn't have any mana ramp. I take that back. Don't do that. So those are a couple archetypes to see creeping in. I think zombies are going to be dominant as hell. I mean, that's the way it's looking, but, tokens rarely win. Even when goblin tokens were really big, people could play enough to stop them. So when Hour of Devastation comes out, I think a ton of Amonkhet cards are going to go up, mostly because there's nowhere to go but up. They're so damn low. So if you're looking at a card and you're like, this is so powerful, how is this $1 or less? I would sit on it. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily invest in it. I'm not that confident. I wouldn't buy up, 16 copies of something. But I would wait around and see what happens, especially with the core mechanic cards when Hour of Devastation comes out. So value-wise, would I still pick up some Amonkhet cards if you're interested in building one now? Absolutely. Any kind of deck. I mean, if you think it's strong and you think it can compete with the meta in your area, you're probably right. And then would I just buy some to open it and sit on them and hope the value goes up in the future? Yeah, absolutely. Now, the one last thing I gotta say, advice-wise, is if you have a card and it's moderately powerful and it's black, guess what? You're on color with zombies. You know why Fatal Push went from $5 to $9? Because so many damn people are running zombies. Do you really think that even if zombies becomes a second-rate deck like red-white vehicles, do you think that Hour of Devastation is not going to have a single zombie in it? I mean, this is Amonkhet we're talking about. The place is filled with freaking zombies. So the zombies deck could only get better, and Shadows and Eldritch Moon aren't going anywhere anytime soon. So, yeah. Well, okay, they've got 6 months, but still, it's going to be pretty vicious. So just sit on your black rares that you think are not complete garbage and see what happens. Now, as far as what to build, I don't know, just speed. I think that's almost universally true. When people are kind of testing out decks and there hasn't been a pro tour, All the decks universally are probably about 2 turns slower because they're not quite as fine-tuned and cranked up the power and perfected yet. So just run a super speed deck, whether it be white, mono red, or mix. Might be able to get away with some kind of green mix in there, maybe like a green energy trample boost or something. I would love to see a red-green deck, especially with some of the red-green mix cards. Oh my god. And it just so happens that all of those colors, all of the lands, all those mixes, mono, and the land support, everything is dirt cheap. Especially like red hasters right now. Dirt freaking cheap. So if you're looking for something to build, that's the way I would lean. Definitely. So that's all the tips, insights, and predictions and everything now that we've had one constructed event. And I'll see you guys next video.